All right. Everybody who's watching, hey, this is Luke with Uncivil Liberty. We've run into a technical glitch. We're having to jump over to a whole different platform. There's Halston.
Here I am. Oh, shit.
There's Scott.
Scott.
Do I sound okay?
You do, and we're live.
Hi.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, what?
Can I hear you?
I can hear you. And there he goes.
Oh,
all right.
Shit. This is the Halston and Scott show. How is everybody tonight?
Woo, woo.
What about airplanes? What about airlines? What about those little peanut bags and all that gay shit?
Yeah, I like this. What about where are we? I lost everything. What a crazy start to this show. Oh, well, fuck them if they can't take a joke. All right. There's Kristen. Kristen's with us. Hey, girl. Hey. I have no idea where everybody else is, so I'll just take this one step at a time. How about it, Scotty? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm trying to find. Can I go ahead and share this link?
Yeah, man.
Is this
share
what we're
away.
doing? Hell yeah.
As always, I'm Horace and Luke. There's Luke.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so there's Luke.
Oh, this is a nightmare and a half. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's the rain. It's flooding. That's what it is, Kristen. That's it. You blame it on somebody.
All right. Let's try this again.
We're already busted out to Facebook. We're live. We're talking now. Very professional and shit.
Are we still live on Facebook?
Fuck yeah, we are.
I gotta close my door real quick.
All right.
Did you go live on Facebook?
Yeah, you went live when it stayed live, even though you left. So.
Shit, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's a little lagging. Rain sucks. Everything just sucks.
Everything has gone to shit today. We're gonna wait on Horace to come in for a little bit.
Man, fuck Horace.
Halston, why don't you officially open us up properly while I make sure everything is working technically on this end?
Yeah, I'm Halston. There's Luke doing technical shit. Here's our new friend Scott, the ANCAP barber. We'll let him plug himself here in just a second on live TV. He'll be plugging himself. Check us out on Facebook and the Twitters. We tweet sometimes, and we got a YouTube channel and shit. And that's about it. Fucking welcome to the jungle, baby. Scotty, give them a run for their money.
Man, I am Scott. I have a podcast called the ANCAP Barbershop on Pax Libertas Productions, which is a network started by a gentleman named Roger Paxton. He has a show called The Lava Flow, if anybody's familiar with that. If you're not, you should definitely check that out, as well as my show. But yeah, I'm an Alabama boy like the rest of these guys, and I'm down to fuck. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're gonna I don't know. We're gonna talk about some crazy shit. No agenda. Apparently, we're just gonna free for all, and that's how I like to do shit. So this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And again, I apologize. We updated we utilized Blue Jeans for our typical show, and they pushed an update, and we lost Facebook Live over there at the last minute. So we had to figure out some roundabout way, and I'm sure Horace will be in here in a few minutes. It's a great week. It's a great week to quit smoking, let me tell you.
I saw that.
Amazing.
How's that going for you?
It sucks, but it's gotta be done. So.
Oh fuck yeah, t-shirts. Forgot about t-shirts.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
there you go. I'm not wearing mine.
Fucking Liberty. How about that?
I didn't want to come across I really thought about what I was gonna wear hard, but I didn't want to come across like I was trying too hard. So I got the dingiest Between the Buried and Me shirt that I have. It's stained with various liquids from the insides of vehicles. Y'all thought I was gonna say something like that, but yeah, just laying on the ground, working on cars and shit.
Nice.
Very cool. I'll take it.
Where the fuck is Horace?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to stall here, but we're gonna have to. I mean, we're gonna have to push on. I mean, Horace, he was there and now he's not. So.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Moving along. Liberty.
So
How about that Liberty guy?
all right. So Horace just sent me a message. He's having to switch accounts. So give him. He's running off that 2009. What is that? That iMac, whatever thing he's running off of.
Yeah.
MacBook.
He got his hamsters and shit running in circle.
Right. Yeah. So it might take him a hot minute. Okay. So let's get our bearings back, guys. This is Uncivil Liberty. Check us out. Facebook. If you're watching it, you're on Facebook. We've got the YouTube going. We've got the podcast stuff. We've got I don't know if you on our Facebook page. I did post a new thing. I do want to touch on that. We've joked about it for a couple of weeks. We officially have $100 for anyone who can provide us a nudie picture of Jeff Sessions. We will take it. We will be happy to take it. Since Horace isn't here, send it to Horace@uncivilliberty.com. He'd love to get it, but yes, legit $100 in the pot for the first person to bring us a legit picture of a naked Jeff Sessions.
If you get me those nudies by Friday, I'll throw in an extra $100.
Shit, it's payday, mofo.
Yeah, Food Lion gift card.
Food Lion gift card. Yeah,
No shit.
we're gonna give you $50 to Piggly Wiggly.
IGA, sucker.
All right, Scott, you're our guest. It's a free for all. Throw out a topic. Let's fucking do it.
Well, you know what I've been thinking about a lot recently is how it's fucked up that women have eggs and spiders also lay eggs, and we still fucking trust women and we talk to them. No, that's bullshit. That's not even my joke. I shouldn't.
No, but it's a good topic to go with, and I think it's fair, especially in
You
this
make a
day.
really good point.
Yeah, no, but that's kind of what I do is I take work that other people have done and I use it I put it on my monetized podcast and use it to make money. I basically fucking rob people. But yeah.
Perfect.
That's honesty. I appreciate honesty way more than creativity. Let me just tell you that right now.
Me too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the thing that's kind of been itching me is guns. I've been spending a lot of time today. I think I want to talk on my next episode of my show and Cat Barbershop about gun regulations and some different stuff. Next episode I do. So I've been looking into that, and I don't know. I wasn't necessarily prepared to talk about that, but it's kind of crazy how just about every anti-gun statistic that gets thrown at you just turns out to be like cherry-picked bullshit. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so Obama spent $10 million of our money to order the CDC to do a study I don't know exactly how long it was, over the course of a few years or whatever, and they somewhat recently finished it. I'm not exactly sure on the effectiveness of guns as like a method of self-defense, which just seems like that's a pretty big fucking waste of $10 million. Like I could have done. It works. It usually works. Is kind of what I would come to myself. But what they figured out was, I think if you include like suicides and shit, it's like 30. It's somewhere around 30,000 a year gun-related deaths here in the U.S. specifically. Mm-hmm. And then just to contrast that, it's like so that's outside of the CDC study. And to contrast that, what the study found out was it's low end 500,000 people a year, end up in a situation where they use guns to save themselves from being killed, basically. And
does this include law enforcement, or is this just civilian?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have it pulled up. I'll find all that out, and it should be here in a couple of weeks or a week or so at ancatbarbershop.com/37, I think.
Look it away.
Yeah, but I think so. That was the low end, and the high end, if they included some criteria, I can't remember exactly, was like 3 million. So I guess if you really did some mental gymnastics, you could go like, oh, well, like all that stuff goes away if you take the guns out of the mix, which is highly immoral. Like for somebody to say like, I don't know, it's just a very simple-minded thing. Like, oh, well, you know, that's how you fix the problem. You get rid of the guns. And people don't tend to follow through with the implications of that. Means that, you know, when you have law enforcement officers that are too cowardly to do anything about a child with an AR-15 in a school, that they're going to go, you know, take guns away from everybody else. It just none of that shit works. But yeah, so the takeaway from that tonight is guns work pretty well for self-defense. That's what I figured out. $10 million.
Yeah, it's funny. That's one of those bullshit statistics that they throw out. That's, I want to say in 2016, that because they obviously don't have like all the stats for 2017, but right. It's like 295 deaths have been from self-defense with firearms. And it's like, did you just count the deaths? Is that all that fucking matters to you? You morbid fucks. You know, like why not count all the times that someone pulled out a gun and it stopped someone from robbing them or raping them or assaulting them or whatever? But they don't do that because the cops never say, oh, let me write down and make the FBI crime statistics that this guy pulled out a gun and saved his life, because that's not a real stat. It's kind of like England includes pushing and shoving in crime statistics.
Right.
Why? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Which it's important to separate, for different reasons, to separate violent crime statistics with gun crime statistics, because if you have a situation like in Australia, where Australia, where you where they had their 1996 for all intents and purposes assault rifle ban, where they did a buyback, but it was like a non-voluntary buyback, where that was the law. Yeah. Where the gun crime went down, but the violent crime pretty much stayed the fucking same. And to me, it's very telling. Something else that I've been seeing. I'm trying to remember. I've been looking at this stuff today, and it's I don't know. Like I said, it's really telling of how little people give a fuck about the shit. I don't know. I had a point, but it'll be back to me here in just a minute. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, none of that shit matters on this show. You don't have to make points. You can go on and on and on and never make a point.
Forever.
Our fans will love you.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, so I just found out that apparently Horace can't get in because I guess you only have 3 on this platform. I think that's part of the reason why we walked away from this platform as a whole, is because we wanted to have more.
I don't know, man. We always had more people be able to pop into the audience, though.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, I invited him as a co-host, so that's probably part of it. I'm sorry for all of this, honestly.
Yeah.
Never hit that update button. Naked. Yeah. Never hit that update button. Anyway, so
go ahead. You know.
No, I mean just tying to the guns aspect of thing. A lot. There's one thing I will say about the libertarian community on Facebook, quote unquote community. I use that term. I use libertarian extremely loosely, but the community as well. I'm noticing more of a drift towards the statist side of things, where there's a lot of quote unquote libertarians who are starting to kind of shift and be like, you know what, I agree, we don't need to have those. You know, I think I think you know, it's better off to be in the hands of the police officers and the military. Have you guys noticed this at all? I mean,
that we're like operating under a fascist regime, and we think it's a good idea to give them all of our guns. Yeah,
I mean, because it's just weird. It's just like wait a second. I mean, people hate being called out on their libertarianism. Who made you the king of the libertarians? At the point, you kind of got to draw the line and say, hey, look, enough's enough. You are definitely spouting rhetoric that is nowhere in line with just the liberty-based philosophy. Well, what do you guys?
Yeah, look at what fucking Donald Trump said today. Your boy Trump. That motherfucker said, take the guns first, and then we'll do due process second. That is a real fucking quote from that boy. Fucking Donald Trump, Donald J.
My boy? Trump. Did you say my boy?
Yeah, your boy.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
Ain't my boy.
Ain't mine. Yeah.
You know what?
Fuck that guy. Yeah.
You know what it was I was trying to think of earlier, and this is kind of funny. So, any time we start comparing I'm going to say apples to oranges in a lot of cases. Gun violence statistics, country to country. There's this thing where we can only use, and I'm going to do the air quotes thing again, developed countries in the statistics. And the reason why is because those developed countries work for the narrative that, you know, whoever is pushing. So we talk about Japan and Australia and stuff like that, and, you know, some other European countries. Switzerland comes up a lot. But you can't talk about Middle Eastern countries or Mexico or anything like that. And whenever you take everything into perspective, and like I said, you'll have to look this stuff up. I don't have any of it in front of me. It's not what they're pushing. It's not that narrative that we are this violent place. It's actually the occurrence of gun violence is per capita, just not that high. It's not
like the bottom 15 or bottom 30 or something like that.
Per capita. So whenever you think about it like that, it's really kind of bigoted, the gun control, or, you know, at least these statistics that they push.
Yeah, they also make it now. I don't buy into this narrative too much. It's funny that they also choose white majority countries.
Right.
Which is I don't.
Are you playing the race card? Are you playing the fucking race card?
This is okay.
They just try to pin these types of shootings on white kids, and white kids shoot up schools. I mean, let's face it, right? But
which is one very small data point.
Right? Yeah, it's a small data point, but they always compare the U.S. to other white majority countries and call it developed. Other than Japan, Japan's the one other one. But like, who wants to get kick fucked into a subway train and shoot pellet guns? Like, nobody gives a fuck about. Fuck Japan.
Are you saying Japanese people aren't white people? Or did I misread that? Because I've always counted Asians in.
No, they're not Caucasian. Oh. They do get to share some of the privileges that white people do. They don't ever get thrown under the bus for being inner city or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
So I guess if you just follow this to its logical conclusion, the obvious answer to gun violence is to deport all the black people. And that's what I've been saying for a long time. Earnestly, that's not at all what I believe. That's absolutely retarded. That's
got me scared for a second there. I'm like, real fucking awkward, real quick. No,
that's anytime you go into a thought pattern like that, that's collectivist thinking. That's taking. I mean, because any time that there's statistical evidence, the numbers have to go one way or another. We're talking about IQ points or whatever, and I don't really care, because at the end of the day, you can't judge an individual based on information like that. It's a bad line to draw. It's like saying, like, oh yeah, like all gay people, or not all, but like a lot of gay people have AIDS, or people that have AIDS are majority gay people. That's really stupid, because, I know gay people that are responsible and don't have AIDS. So you have to judge everything. And it sounds like I'm painting a bad picture, but I'm saying that's what you shouldn't do, because it's fucking stupid.
Right.
You have to judge everybody on an individual level.
For the record, we're not Nazis.
Unless you're
put that out there. We're not Nazis.
Unless you're talking about libertarians. Libertarians in general are fucking retarded. But the philosophy is solid. It's just the people are retarded.
Oh my God. And honestly, this week has been just proof positive of just how borderline retarded the libertarian community can be. And if you don't believe me, just tag into some of these groups. I think one of them is the New Libertarian. I float around in.
Not familiar.
Libertarian Party USA Unofficials, another one, a couple, and then you start getting into the anarchy ones. That's you just got.
No, that's like even as I said what I just said, I don't like. There is a hint of truth to a lot of it. Is just how autistic we are about taking any situation and just examining it and breaking it apart to the nth degree and putting everything under a microscope, which I think is a good thing at the end of the day, but it doesn't help what we're trying to push as a message, because the majority of people don't care about what Rothbard had to say about the parent-child relationship. They just care about, right now we have a president who's a Republican who's talking about taking guns away, and imposing some kinds of restrictions. Which whenever a lot of these people, they'll start with ban guns, or at least ban assault rifles. And ask them what an assault rifle is, and they don't have a fucking clue. They don't have the difference. They don't know the difference between something being fully automatic and semi-automatic. They say, well,
oh my God.
Are you talking about that CNN news report thing?
This was a goddamn retired lieutenant general.
Thank you.
The fuck he was.
Thank you.
This motherfucker said full semi-automatic.
Oh yeah,
it's fully semi-automatic. Okay.
Oh.
It's like somebody who
Take your
knows
pension,
better.
you get the fuck out of here.
Somebody who knows better, who's like obviously towing a line, and like even in the middle of them doing it, they're kind of trying to juxtapose it with reality. I guess I don't know.
It's like one of those automatic manual transmissions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can shift it, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I think BMW had something like that way back in the day. It was a horrible idea. Yeah.
You're right about the breaking shit down forever. Like when you break shit down so far away from being status, like it's cool, it's great that we examine all that shit so far as our community. But when you start projecting that onto the rest of society, they're like, well, those guys still can't figure out what to do at a stop sign, so we'll go on back to Republicans and Democrats. We break ourselves so far down that we're not even relevant in the political landscape. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
and so
we learned that hard.
I'm gonna tag in with some of the comments that's coming through on Facebook. Benjamin Burns, it said, asked if we caught what Trump said about the handgun carry reciprocity.
Yes, I did.
Part cutting it out of the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I mean, state is going to state, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, he said in the 90s that he would run as a Republican because Republicans are stupid. So.
And that they are.
He tried to fucking warn you.
And that they are. And of course, the lovely Laura Lane has popped in saying, stay away from the libertarian groups. Apparently, you're going to need a large bottle of Excedrin and Jack Daniels in order to make it through, which is true, which is very true. But that does bring up a question for you, Scott, because we're relatively new, and I guess in our relationship overall. But I want to get your insight on Christopher Chase Rachel's and some of his amazing Pulitzer Prize winning authorship. When it comes to some of this stuff.
The first thing I'd have to say is I've neither read White, Right, and Libertarian, nor have I read, which I actually I don't care about that book, but I wouldn't mind at some point, which I know it's a compilation of Rothbard and Hoppe and different people pretty much, which I don't necessarily think about. What's the other? The
Spontaneous Order.
Spontaneous Order.
Or the ANCAP Bible, as he likes to. Yes.
Yeah, as he likes to call it. I haven't read either of those, and I don't know. I actually last night, for the first time, watched the first half of the debate between him and Larkin Rose about borders. And it was really hard to follow what he was saying. It was so convoluted. And I don't want to use that to say his argument is bullshit just because I'm too fucking retarded to understand it. But it was all I could get out of it was basically let's preserve the system of public property because we don't know how to effectively distribute, the property that's already been seized, which is effectively that's the problem with public property is there's a system without prices, it's a system without market signals, so you don't know how to distribute resources because humans they're monkeys and they're stupid.
Yeah, but if you look at it purely on an economic level, then there's some room for argument and debate there, no doubt about it. But the one thing that I've noticed, I've followed him. I've probably been following him since about 2009 or 10.
Oh wow!
In a lot of these groups, yeah. And he went from atheist ANCAP to very heavy alt-right really quick.
Right.
It seems like. And so, I was kind of, I mean, when he put out a Spontaneous Order, he was cocky about it, but I'm like, that's probably just his personality. It is what it is. Yeah. But then as I started watching things kind of spiral out and becoming more and more of a fan of the ethnocentric society and, kicking people out and stuff like that, I kind of had to scratch my head a little bit and be like, this is not really what he was saying a few years back. Yeah. And then but that was back when I guess the libertarian movement was big. The Ron Paul movement was big. The ANCAP movement was gaining a lot of steam. Free State Project was gaining a lot of steam. and it just seemed like almost overnight, people started scattering to completely polar opposite positions on things,
Right.
And so that's I wanted to kind of get your insight on that to see what you thought and see how well to him or just to the ANCAP people as a whole.
Yeah, not very well, but from what I understand of that argument, I think it's horseshit. I mean, I would definitely side with Larkin for the most part, and I tend to really like Larkin Rose in general. I know a lot of people really fucking hate him. They can't stand him, and they typically tend to be bordertarians or whatever. Not that I'm not even necessarily not a bordertarian. Like, there's an argument for privatized borders, I guess, and
I've heard that.
But whenever people start like praising ICE agents deporting people and stuff, fuck them. I don't care. And you have to follow these ideas through their logical conclusion of, at some point you've got to go to your black neighbor's house and put a gun in his face. And I don't want to do that, nor am I willing to. And I understand, like, if they're advocating for, taxes being levied against you, they're stealing from you or whatever. But I think that's convoluted and retarded.
Yeah.
I see a picture of you and Amanda, and I'm distracted. Do you see that too, Scott? I'm just fucking.
Where is it now? Oh, in the chat client? No, I'm seeing you two gentlemen and myself.
I don't know what the fuck is going on because I see like Luke and Amanda's. Anyways, back at it. Well,
do you not see my video?
I do now. It's like timing out, but that's cool.
Everything's good on my end, so I see both of y'all moving.
No,
I think Halston has a piece of shit computer or something.
I got a bomb ass computer.
I'll tell you what you do have that's good though is you got like a fucking bitchin' ass haircut, dude. Man, that's all right there. Yeah. I can get down with a bald man. I love that shit.
Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, Rachel's. And we covered him a couple weeks ago.
We did.
I can't give any respect to anyone who says white right and whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Libertarian.
Yeah. Just because the connotation of right, like, do you mean are you correct because you're white, or are you right side of politics? Like, what the fuck are you talking about there, Chase? So I don't give him any clout. I mean, I'm sure he can brainstorm with the best of them because he's a narcissistic, smart guy. But, other than that, like, who gives a fuck about him? It's cool that he wrote books. Cool. I wrote a book once. It's a fucking kid's book that teaches toddlers how to cuss. So, I mean, my shit's better.
You're so proud of that book. Let me tell you, you are.
Release that motherfucker soon. But it's better than his book. That's all. He doesn't look bald.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Fuck you, Chase Rachels.
Yeah, if you publish that, I would like a DM. Put that link in them DMs to me because that sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
So do you guys? Are you guys? Well, I don't want to put your shit out there. Are y'all gun owners?
Perchance? Yeah.
What do you guys?
Perchance.
What do you guys allegedly get down on that you're willing to talk about?
If I had a gun, it would be all of them.
If I had a,
it would be what?
It'd be all of them.
If I had a gun.
I like where that's going.
But you also have to understand too. Halston and I are both Army vets.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So we kind of. But are you a war vet? Is that Halston? Are you a war veteran? Do you get discounts for being a war veteran?
Yeah, I wear a T-shirt that says "I'm a war veteran. Give me 10%."
Oh my god!
10% off. Give me 10% of what you got. Give me half that fucking.
Are you one of those guys that like makes YouTube videos of like accosting people for stealing valor and stuff? Because that would be really cool. I'd like to see that. I actually make videos for people who don't steal valor. It's kind of like I just walk up to veterans. Just random people and be like, why aren't you wearing a purple heart? Here's what. See, I fuck with that, dude. I like that shit. Here's what I've been thinking about. What we should do is we should do pretty much that same model. Like, and I was never in the military, but I should learn a lot about it. And then we should do that, but I should also be like stealing valor, but calling people out for doing it and saying that I'm a soldier, because that would be fucking fun.
Oh my god, that would be fucking hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucks with guns just because it's. I mean, I always have since I was a kid. It's in my blood to be a fighter rather than a flighter.
Yeah.
In a self-defense situation. Plus, I hunt too, and I just like sport shooting.
See, I've always thought the guns were like pretty gay and stuff, but if I had one, it would probably be like a 6-hour P226, the Mark 25, the Navy SEAL edition with the anchor on the side that has the internal the internal parts are. They have I think what they call an anodized coating, which I don't know what that means, other than you can apparently go underwater with and stuff.
Brush your teeth with
it. Which would be cool if I had something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know.
Yeah.
But
if you were to get one, I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, dude, and AR-15s are like little bitch guns for little bitch school shooters. I tell you what I really legitimately don't own. I mean, I do have an AR-15, but what I would like to have would be like a pump 12, because I think that's the real people killer right there. Like in a self-defense situation or in a school shooting situation, whatever it is, that's
how you know the people that bitch about school shootings have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
It's a varmint round. Right. It's a glorified it's like a little bit bigger than a 7. Well, it's a little bigger than a 17 HMR or something like that. But yeah. I don't know. Here's what, and maybe y'all know this. Here's what I've been told. That basically they implemented. What was it they used? I guess it was the Ruger Mini 14. Was that what we were using before the M16? I can't remember.
We're using the M14, the big brother of the Mini.
And that
7.62.
7.62 by 39 or something like that. 7.62 45 is the Kalashnikov round, isn't it?
No, that's the 39.
Okay. See, I get that shit confused. But either way.
No, it's I can't remember. 51. It's a regular 308, I think.
Now that's a big boy bullet. But what I've always heard that they switched to those tiny ass little 5.56 because it was like really bad for the morale of the soldiers to see people get like really big fucking holes blown in them, like to realize that they were killing people in a really disgusting way. As opposed, they did that to kind of, I guess, make it a little bit easier for them when they're like mowing people down. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe it's that's what people have told me. It's probably not true, but I don't know. It kind of makes sense.
Well, don't tell anybody. Just say it as if you're the fucking authority on it. Yeah. Especially these yahoos that think they know what the fuck they're talking about. Right. Like, 5.56 is so soldiers can kill people better.
Yeah, and it's like if you get in a conversation with somebody like that, it usually starts off with them saying, or you can get out of them that, I want to ban all guns. And then you talk with them for 2 minutes and you knock them down to like, well, okay, that's like a violation of what may be like an inherent human right to protect yourself, or what I would grant to my brothers and sisters as an inherent human right. The ability to do that, but then they say, well, it's okay. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't ban everything, but it seems like the military rifles, we should ban those. And you say, like, well, what do you mean? Like assault rifles, like an AR-15 an AR-15 isn't a military rifle. That's a civilian rifle,
right?
And then you knock them down on that, and then I don't know. My big thing is any inch you give to the government when it comes to guns, you're probably not going to fucking get back. Like if we're just being real, and I understand whenever you're talking to somebody like that's left of center, they're going to think, oh, you're a conspiracy nut or whatever. But I mean, we've already overthrown one government, in a violent way. I don't think we should.
How come we don't have fucking Tommy guns? How come everybody doesn't have a fucking Tommy gun? Because they're illegal since 1935, and we haven't gotten those back. Not without a class 3.
I mean, yeah. I think we should absolutely all have fully automatic weapons. Well, no, okay. Let me rephrase that. We should be allowed by our masters to have fully automatic weapons.
I back my statement 100%. There are lots of motherfuckers that don't need guns. And if I had my way and I could if me, myself, not some Uncle Sam, big brother, if I could just watch them on the range and be like, yeah, this motherfucker needs a little bit of work before we just release him to the wild. I got no problem saying that. Because there were some dudes the last time I went to Swan Creek that literally pulled their weapons out of their trunk and flagged the entire fucking range and started shooting when the range was hot. Like,
oh, dude.
Oh, no.
I'll do you one better. I'll do you one way better. As far as just dumb people out at specifically at Swan Creek, dude. Me and a buddy were out there and hot range. We were all shooting a bunch of people, and dude, this lady just starts walking down the sidewalk, that little area on the right, out to set up her target. And I'm like, whoa, everybody's gonna stop shooting, or this person's gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
of course, that's somebody like that is in the minority, and you think you would kind of just figure that out, like it's common sense. You don't walk out in front of where people are shooting guns. Luckily, nothing happened or anything.
Common sense is a fucking superpower. So, I mean, flip a coin as to whether or not you get it. I don't know. Right. But yeah, excuse me. Yes, I think we should all be able to protect ourselves however we want. And it doesn't matter. Like, I hate the people that say, oh, you're a conspiracist when you talk about whatever. But hypothetically, I mean, I got about as good a chance of 12 to 15 people storming my house as you do having a kid and then that kid growing up and one day being involved in a school shooting.
Right.
The chances are about the same. Lots of people get attacked they get mugged by large groups of people. It's just, you don't see that, and there's no knee-jerk reaction to that. There's a knee-jerk reaction to kids being killed or nightclub shootings and yada yada. I mean, my heart bleeds with them. I don't like to see people die, but I also don't want to be one of the people that die. Right? I mean, that's where does your safety start, or where does your safety end and mine start? Why do you have more right of safety than I do at home? It's one of those. It's a dichotomous argument that you're never ever going to get to the bottom of, because your safety is as important as mine is.
Absolutely. And I mean, what do you tell the 19-year-old girl or whatever that's going to college that doesn't want to fucking get raped?
Right.
Do you tell her she can't protect herself? That's the power of guns. It's an equalizer to a degree. It takes those amongst us that are weak and it gives them an opportunity to defend themselves. And I can't see how that could ever be a bad thing, or however how that can be not a part of the conversation. That seems like the most important thing. And I don't know. Like I said before, it's just very easy to point out how a lot of these left-wing people are specifically very, very anti-Trump, which I can't fucking stand. And honestly, this is really making that more concrete. That then, what did he say the other day? Said that if it was up to him, or he would like to basically have the death penalty for drug dealers, which is just fucking psychotic. It's so obvious that the idea of putting all this power in one fucking monkey's hands is a bad idea. Even if it's a fucking monkey that you like, in 4 to 8 years, it might be fucking Trump. Or you know what? It might be Oprah Winfrey in 4 years, 3 years, whatever. And that's something that we probably need to start talking about, because that is a very real possibility. That could absolutely happen. And I don't know. She's a basket case. That definitely wouldn't be a good thing. Not that I think Trump is any better.
No, and I think a lot with Trump is it seems like he's taken the domestic policies of the guy out in the Philippines a little too seriously.
Duterte?
Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of hearing what he's saying, and I'm looking back in the news. It's like 3 days earlier. He said the same thing. He's got bounties on communist heads now. It's 340 pounds, I think, is what he's paying, something like that.
Shit!
Yeah,
British pounds.
Yeah, that's like $500 American, something close to it.
Bag 4.
That seems like a small amount of money to offer to murder another human being.
But you have to remember too, the cost of living in the Philippines is super low. Like $4 an hour is like good money to them. So that's a big paycheck. But kind of tying it back in, we would kind of talk. Do what?
It's a big paycheck for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's two car payments and a power bill.
There it is. So there's been a lot of talk. A lot of the states have been, the state legislature's been putting together bills as far as arming teachers, and that's kind of drawn a lot of criticism. Some some support, some criticism here and there. But ironically enough, was it today or was it yesterday? I think it was this morning out in Georgia, with that high school teacher. So do you guys think that with this new development with the high school teacher that just lost his fucking mind, do you feel that that's going to sway public opinion at all?
Yep.
So that and I saw a couple of little things. I don't have all the deets on that just yet, but apparently this is one teacher who wouldn't allow children into a classroom, and they were in a classroom by themselves, and one round was shot. As far as I know, that's what happened. Of course, in the next couple of days, we'll find out. Maybe that's subject to change as more things come to light. But that is, I don't know. That's shady as fuck.
Yeah.
That seems like a political thing. But I mean, there's not even any point in going down that road. But it does, the timing and those particular circumstances.
We'll get there. We'll go down that road for sure.
Make that iffy.
But we always go down the yellow brick conspiracy road. We always.
My hot take on arming teachers is very simple. I guess like if we were to do something immediately like the system that we are in right now, I think it's a pretty bad idea to turn teachers into cops. I'm absolutely all for allow them to carry if they want, but taking teachers that don't necessarily want that and forcing them to have gun training and range time and all that sounds like a recipe for disaster to me.
Right. We can't even get the goddamn cops to engage a shooter. I mean, I can't expect Miss Linda to leave her history class behind and go engage a shooter. I was talking to somebody, I can't even remember who it was, but they were today at lunch with some guys, and they were talking about, well, this teacher and this teacher would have to coordinate, and then this teacher would come up behind them. I'm like, whoa, pump the fucking brakes, because I don't think that's going to fly. I was like, maybe you just let the teachers carry. You get all the kids in the classroom in the corner that you can't see from the door, and then Miss Linda pulls out her 380 from her girdle and hangs it at the door or something.
I think that there's a large misconception where people are thinking that, I guess the people are wanting the teachers to be to be ad hoc SWAT team, and I'm like, that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
And in hearing some of the legislators who were talking about it, they're like, we just want the teachers to have a fighting chance. If you are in a room, like, in the situation that Halston was saying, and you're in the corner, if someone bursts through that door, you have a better chance of walking out if you have the ability to defend yourself and your kids. I don't think anyone's really asking, and I could be completely wrong, I don't think anyone's asking teachers to, don tactical gear and go running and taking out a shooter. It's more for the protection of the classroom, protection of the self, and protection of the people that are in their custody.
It sounded like Lord Commander Trump that was exactly what he wanted. He was like, what if one teacher would have poked her head out and shot him?
Hey, the Board of Education has a SWAT team, right? The Department of Education has an actual SWAT team. So does the Social Security Administration.
Send those bitches after him.
There you go.
Put them on Air Force One. Zip them on down.
Fly them down here super quick like.
So
Pat Doyle, not familiar with that name, said shoot everyone. That works.
Pat. I am in fact familiar with Pat Doyle, and he is gay as hell. That's all you need to know.
Doesn't make him a bad person.
It does. It inherently. I mean, not gay people in general; they're fine. But Pat Doyle is inherently.
He can't handle his gay.
Yeah. If you would like to talk to him, let me see if I've got his cell phone number.
Oh, we'll put that out.
Let's see here. No, I don't. He's. I think he's one of those retards that calls everybody from Facebook Messenger. No, Pat's like one of my 2 or 3 best friends in the world. But yeah, he is mad gay. Yeah. Fuck you, Pat. You completely made me lose my point. Oh yeah. So I would say like the long-term fix, or is the best, at least to my knowledge, is very simply to abolish the public schooling system, get rid of the Prussian model, And some people would say, well, take a half measure of like having vouchers and stuff. That's more the minarchist thing or whatever. Somebody that still wants education, or not. Let me not say education, but schooling to be a socialist system. But you let parents decide where their money goes as far as schools, and then you let schools be a business that figures out how to deal with that problem. So if you look at something like Walmart, as opposed to like, and I don't know, maybe we haven't even had, I don't think the school shooting narrative is as bad as it is in a lot of people's minds. I know that there was what was that number everybody was throwing around like towards the beginning of February, end of January, that so far in 2018 we've had 18 school shootings, and
yes.
And then whenever you actually dig into that, there were a couple that were legit. There were a few of them that were suicides. There were one or two that were like an accidental discharge. It's just the majority of them, nobody even got shot or hurt. It was just like, any time a gun goes off in a school, we're going to call this a school shooting, and it's going to be this thing that triggers really bad thoughts in people's minds.
Right. It's manipulating the title of data, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
Right. But
much like the unemployment numbers. Unemployment numbers actually come from I always get them confused. The U3 data, not the U6 data. The U6 data calculates underemployment and unemployment, whereas it's just unemployed. We were like, the economy is doing great. The economy is booming. Well, no, technically not. People are just, if you have a job that's 1 hour a week, you are gainfully employed under this data metric, and so there you go. You're still not able to feed your family.
Right. Yep. But so if you look at something like I said, take Walmart for instance, very, very large corporation, very large business, something that's not nearly 100%, a free market organization. No large business can avoid being a corporation or avoid using the government to get what it needs. That's what you have to do to make profits in a quasi-socialist system. It's just part of the deal. And I don't know, people. I could go off on a Walmart thing, but it's not important. The good that Walmart does for the world. But you have something like that, and it hasn't really been a thing where people have been going and shooting up Walmarts. They could. There's a lot of people. It's not public property. A lot of people don't really even understand what that means. So for those of you that are watching, whenever I say public property, I mean state-owned property.
Taxpayer funded.
Yeah, state-owned and coercively funded property. Right, as opposed to something that is owned by individuals or whatever, non-state individuals, non-state actors. So you take a Walmart and you have it's not one thing to like that doesn't happen because there are guns in Walmart. Their gun policy isn't great as compared to something like Kroger, where Kroger has their policy is if it's legal, you can do it here. You can open carry in a Kroger here. You can concealed carry, whatever. Walmart kind of leaves it up to the individual branches. If I remember correctly, I open carry in Walmarts around here, and I've never had a problem. But there are some guns in Walmart, or at least there's the question of, is there guns in Walmart as opposed to at schools? It's pretty close to a certain no in a lot of places. So with something like that, you potentially could have somebody go into Walmart. If they're reserved to die in their mind, it doesn't matter if they get shot. They might not kill as many people as they could somewhere where there were no guns. But, somebody could absolutely do it. So you have to ask yourself the question of, what does Walmart do when that happens? Do they close up doors and stop making money, or do they find a way to fix the fucking problem? And whenever you have a system where you have the public schools, you have the FBI, you have the local sheriff's offices that do nothing but push the buck to somebody else and assign blame anywhere but themselves and say, well, we'll look into what happened. Whenever Nicholas Cruz, there have been 39 different visits over the course of 7 years by the local sheriff's office. There have been somewhere around 20 phone calls about Nicholas Cruz in the 2 years leading up to what happened. And I don't know. I'm not even going to go off into this whole, this is an FBI plant thing and they drug this kid up. Like, you don't even have to get into conspiracy stuff. You just go as far as take them at their word. What they say happened. It's completely fucked up. They completely dropped the ball.
Lack of competence. No, it's incompetence.
Yeah.
It's not lack. They're just incompetent.
So if you have a privatized system where anybody who decides they want to start a school can go start a school, and they operate at the pleasure of their funding, which is voluntary. If they do a bad job, guess what? You pull your kids out of that school and you pull your money out of that school. Mm-hmm. And you send it to a school that fucking decides to do something and not just say, oh, we should ban guns or have gun regulations or gun reform whenever 17 of our kids are mowed down and murdered by some fucking psychopath. That to me, you introduce an element of competition, and is it going to be perfect? No. Anytime there are humans involved, nothing is perfect. But
except Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
If you're not plugging JC, I don't want to hear it.
I'm definitely plugging JC, if you guys know what I mean, which is anal sex with our Lord and Messiah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
we're always about that here. Now we're straight going to hell.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just going to make a point that I was making earlier on before the show, is that I've noticed that the people who have been very adverse to the idea of homeschooling, or at least or even virtual schooling, these people who are opposed to it, I'm starting to notice them also kind of walking back a little bit. They're like, oh, maybe the public school system isn't the utopia that I once thought. Maybe my kids aren't safe in a state-run institution. Have you guys noticed that too at all? Have people's opinions changing?
I've noticed that, and I've noticed that the public school some of them aren't public. The educators who are in public or quasi-public charter school type, mm-hmm. They have been much more open in discussing how limited they are with their curriculum. You want to let us carry guns? Why don't you let us use our own fucking curriculum and teach kids how we're supposed to teach? It's opening more cans that we would like opened. But as far as like being able to say, I'm a teacher and I just say, let's pull your kids from school. That's not happening yet.
Yeah, and you also the thing that I always hear is there's not enough funding for the teachers, not enough funding for these classes, for all this stuff. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to, for the people that decide where that money goes, it's not a huge priority.
No, it's not
compared to a lot of other stuff. But so if you have a system where everything is voluntary and you take the coercive taxation element out of it, what you end up with is not only schools competing for offering a higher level of education and safety to the children, competing for the money of the parents. They're also competing for the teachers. A higher quality teacher is incentivized to do a better job, not just get fucking tenure, but to do a good job to get into the good school and to make good money, as opposed to just put their feet up on the desk and do nothing. And I don't want to sit here and act like teachers are all a bunch of welfare whores, because you don't typically get into that job to make money. You get into that job because you want to help kids.
Are you not going to take the Arvin stance on this and call them rapists and murderers?
Okay. Well, that's when. So if we still get a chance to record an ANCAT barbershop, I definitely want to talk Arvin with y'all. That's going to be fun. I'm not going to tell you what I think about Arvin. I'm going to wait, because that's a whole thing. And we'll be talking for another hour or two if we go into Arvin here.
I was just throwing it a little zinger for the LP followers that are in our crowd.
Yeah, I guess since I brought that up, that's the plan. Is we're going to record a bonus episode of the ANCAT Barbershop, hopefully this Saturday, if everybody can still make it.
Hopefully so. We don't know about Horace, because Horace is no longer with us.
Yeah, Horace actually just died, and something.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
He's no longer with us. And something else that that we haven't talked about. Horace is actually, he's my father. I know nobody, that follows me or y'all show really understands that. But yeah, he's my dad, and I assume it just by look. I actually don't know Horace at all. He's not my dad. I was trying to go into a funny thing and it fell apart.
Yeah, it just wasn't doing it.
You know what he looks like
Horace
though?
is watching right now. Actually, he is with us in spirit.
Hey, Horace. Well, I'll tone it down a little bit, but I'm assuming from looking at that guy, we've had a chat going on, and I really like Horace. He's funny as fuck, and I've been listening to y'all's podcast. He's great. Is he like a Vietnam vet? Like that's if I was just gonna come up and make something out of my ass. I guess maybe that's just me profiling, going like, older.
I've heard Horace called a few different things, and Vietnam vet has not even hit the radar.
Yeah. I guess that's just
like to talk about it.
Anybody.
It's the Agent Orange. The Agent Orange is acting up.
Right. Yeah. Anybody that's over like 40 or whatever that has long hair. That's what I assume. Well, I don't know. I guess. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But
Horace is our resident philosopher. Horace talk about shit.
Yeah. I picked up on that.
Come to grips with that.
He
talks way over this bald head.
Yeah, no, he seems like a principled guy from the little bit that I've heard, which is really cool. I dig that. That's kind of my thing. I'm not really like a news bug, or I don't talk on my show necessarily about the most recent thing. I do a show at this point. Excuse me, I just burped into the microphone. About every 2 weeks, every fortnight.
There we go.
And
that's so lonely.
I like to mainly focus on fuckery, but also talk about philosophy stuff. We get into some what I would consider deep conversations. That's not probably to the rest of you wouldn't be the case, but I don't know. I assume a lot of people are more stupid than I am. I know I'm probably wrong, but.
That's the thing about the people that hang out in the political philosophical circles that we kind of run in is that there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk, and if you ever hang out with just your average run of the mill LP people, there's a lot of fucking talk.
Right.
And it's sometimes you need a little fuckery, honestly, because it gets heavy and soul crushing sometimes.
We had a couple heavy episodes in a row that it's like, man, we need some fucker. And then we got Roy Moore.
Yeah, Roy Moore just made it for us. I mean, like he just, oh my God, the joke that told itself.
Every fucking day.
I would also like to clear up something real quick, if I could. The group on Facebook, Republican Libertarian, whichever it is the official Libertarian Party of Alabama Facebook group. There's been some confusion about that. People, for some reason, from the LPA are saying it's not. That actually is, everybody. That is the official Facebook group of the political organization Libertarian Party of Alabama. I'm actually not a crazy LP. I'm not saying crazy LP guy or anti LP guy because anti LP people are crazy. I fence on that stuff. I think political crusading is one facet of a big diamond that is very important. I'm not a real active LP guy, but I don't necessarily spend all of my time shitting on them. Sometimes it's fun, but I think there's stuff like New Hampshire. If you look at some of the stuff they've done there, they actually have a few sitting statesman reps that are Libertarian Party and that are fairly principled for the most part. And they have a lot of freedoms there that they've been winning back the past couple of years, in comparison to a shithole like Alabama.
I used to live in New Hampshire. I spent
that's right,
about 4 years up there, and I did not hear about the Free State Project until I moved to Alabama.
That's so weird. And you said you were close to Keene.
I was 30 minutes from Keene. I actually went to Keene a couple of times. Saw absolutely nothing. And then when I moved to Alabama, and I started getting a little bit deeper in the I guess the liberty movement type stuff. I was like, oh, it's Free State Project. What's this? Oh, it's in New Hampshire. Holy crap! But yeah, people look at New Hampshire as like it's some sort of mecca for liberty, and it's really not. It's a beautiful state. It's a great state. I think it has a lot, but people go there with rose-colored glasses, and they think that they're going to find what they're truly looking for, and they get there and they realize like there's a ton of taxes involved. Yeah, there's no income tax, there's sales tax, but it's on like restaurants and stuff. Right. But then they go to try to buy a house, and they're looking at $700 a month of property tax,
right,
on top of a mortgage. And that's what we were looking at when I was looking at buying a house up there. It's like $600 a month for property tax. I'm like, are you killing tolls on the road? You know, I like the vices. You know, I used to smoke a lot. Right. Used to drink a lot at the time. Well, the alcohol is all controlled by the state. There are no private liquor stores. It's all state-run liquor stores like Utah.
Right.
You know, taxes up there on cigarettes are astronomical. You know, people come from New Hampshire back to Alabama who smoke, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can get a carton of cigarettes for less than $100." Yeah, that's how it works, you know, down here. So there's definite trade-offs. So, you know, anyone who's really just, you know, got the starry eyes for New Hampshire, I guess be open-minded.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And there are other places that are freedom oriented, I guess, or, you know, in comparison to the rest of the states, more freedom oriented. But what's somewhere else that you would put up as a state that would be a better place to go to in New Hampshire?
I really don't know, because
Congo.
There's all
Somalia.
Yes, it's always a classic Somalia. No, I don't think there is a best state. I think even the quote unquote best states have their trade-offs. It's really about what's more important to you. You're not gonna be able to get everything you want.
I think there are some worse states, but I don't think they're best states. Maybe fucking Montana or something like that.
Yeah, that's the first one that pops in my mind. But you know, Montana is still very conservative. You know, it's super duper
fucking
conservative.
Wolves and big ass bears and shit. And
well, honestly,
Ted Nugent, who the fuck wants to deal with him?
I would much rather deal with
Ted Nugent. You don't want to deal with the cat scratch fever.
Uncle Ted, nah.
Stranglehold. Y'all don't fuck with Ted Nugent on here.
I fuck with Stranglehold. I like his music, but I don't want him to be my neighbor. Fuck that.
I would rather put up with the Wolves and the Bears than like the hardcore Bernie Sanders fans that are up there.
No.
Yeah, but if I could live on Ted Nugent's property and avoid all the Bernie people, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Are you kidding me?
If I could live on Ted Nugent's property and avoid Ted Nugent, it would be great. I just can't trust anybody that was like a hard partying rock star in the 80s that didn't drink. I just don't trust that.
Okay, you've definitely got a point there. But
you didn't dabble a little bit, man. Fuck that.
So back to New Hampshire, I think because I have to defend New Hampshire a little bit. My podcast label, not my podcast label, the podcast label that I'm on is based out of New Hampshire, and I've been up there and I really dig it. I don't know that much, but I guess it depends. It's kind of relative. It depends on what metrics you're using, because I believe it's the Cato Institute that does the Freedom in the 50 states list that they put out, and I forget exactly what all they use as far as metrics to judge that. But they put that out every year, and just about every year, New Hampshire is at the top. And I think there are a couple of years maybe they were in second. I forget who to. But they've got
California.
They've got a lot of good things legally speaking going for them. But you said Keene didn't have much going on. Keene is actually, at least at this point, I don't know when you were there, it's basically the cryptocurrency capital of the world, as far as I know, as far as implementation. I know Portsmouth is pretty good too. I think that's where Derek J. Freeman, his partner Steven have the free bit, or the whatever, the Bitcoin shop, the Portsmouth I forget what it is. Which I think now they use Dash and other things more than they use Bitcoin. But yeah, Keene, pretty much largely due to Ian Freeman and Mark Edge and probably Daryl W. Perry, guys that I'm friends with to one degree or another. I shouldn't say that I'm Facebook friends with. I've met Ian and I really like him. I've hung out with Daryl a lot. I'm definitely buddies with him. I consider him a friend. I don't really know Mark, so I don't know why I throw him in that group. But they were, as far as we could tell, the first people to ever, in broadcast format, even talk about Bitcoin. And they've been pushing free market money for, as long as it's been around, 2010, whatever, up there. And so you're seeing this economy that's kind of supported by that, as opposed to fiat. You're seeing not only a lot of people there have it and they hodl it, or they trade in it to make money like it's a stock, but they actually use it to buy things. It's one of the few places in the world where if you go and you get a sandwich, or you go get barbecue, as Rich Paul likes to constantly point out in different Facebook groups, that you can pay with crypto. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a huge first step towards a freer world. I honestly like my opinion, down to brass tacks. That's how you do it right there. That's how you get rid of the problem, is you starve it to death by killing its fucking money, killing the central banking system.
Laura said you can't come back on the show again, Scotty, unless you grow a beard.
Unless I grow a beard. I have, no, I can't show you my license. There's probably a reason why that would be imprudent. I can't think of it now, but I'm not.
I've seen a picture with you. Actually, I saw a picture with you had long hair.
Yeah, I did. That picture was from 5 years. I was also skinny then, which I'm not real fat now or anything. I'm not a tall guy. I'm about 5'7", and a year or two ago I was about 230 pounds. Now I'm about 180. But yeah, I think in that picture I was like 150, 160. The hair is.
You were hiding behind that Telecaster.
Yeah. That hair is gone. That won't ever happen again. It's not possible. I'll look like the Crypt Keeper, but I would like to get another 20 pounds off. That would be all right. But yeah, I used to be a big fat fuck, and before that I was real skinny. Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much longer we're going to run over this, but I think you alluding to buying barbecue with crypto. I think that's kind of goes along with what Luke had to say today about we talk a lot of fucking game as libertarians about how everything could be free market, but then when it comes time, we have libertarians in need or other people in need in general, and we don't pony up. It's kind of like the school thing, right? We talk about how it could be a privatized system, but not a whole lot of rich libertarians ponying up and starting schools. I mean, I know it's not a market you can just jump right into.
Yeah.
But there's the guy that does the Tolly school. I thought that was coming here, or maybe it's Thales. I don't know. The radio company is Tolly's, but the Thales school, that's a badass school, But there just aren't a lot of people who pony up and say, yeah, here's the way we're gonna fucking do it.
Well, that's the libertarians are great at bitching and moaning and complaining incessantly, but when it actually comes time for any level of action, and I put that post on Uncivil Liberty yesterday, not to kind of say, hey, look what I'm doing, but more so the fact of saying, hey, look, this guy is actually making a good point. We talk about getting rid of the welfare system. We talk about getting rid of taxpayer funded subsidies, but when it comes time to actually put your money where your mouth is, oh, I can't afford it. I can't afford to drop $20. It's just like I've got all these other things. It's always an excuse to not act. And so that's why I put that out there, because he's the dude's recovering from a liver transplant. That's something that speaks a lot to me. My dad, he had a liver transplant back in '98. And now he's in stage renal disease, so he needs a kidney transplant. So that type of stuff speaks to me, and I'm like, hey, look. No problem. I'll throw something at you, because that's, you're right. If we're gonna preach this, we got to practice it. But it was sad the way that because this was inside an LP group, an unofficial Libertarian Party delegate group, where people were just shaming him, like, how dare you be coming here begging for money? It's like, I mean, come on, guys. You can either act or you can just talk, and most of them decided to talk, and that's fine. That's totally their prerogative. But you're not going to win anybody towards your stance if you act like an asshole all the time.
Right. And something you're talking about libertarians supporting other people in need and kind of breaking the stigma that capitalism is an immoral system that doesn't help the poor and needy. A really good, at least, avenue to do stuff like that is something called DonorSee. Have you ever heard of that? Is that familiar to y'all? Okay, so DonorSee is a donations platform that I don't know that I could say that it's necessarily decentralized, because it's basically an app. It's a website that is run by, I guess, the DonorSee company or the DonorSee nonprofit, whatever it is. And the way it works is, instead of you just sending your money off to some charity over in Africa, that it takes months for your money to get anywhere, and by the time it's there, it's a fraction of what it began as. DonorSee is a donations platform that connects the donor with the end user, the person that's over there, doing work. And you can get into the question of, well, like, if you have something like that, that's basically like a somewhat decentralized system, more than what we're seeing now. How do you keep somebody from just posting a picture of some poor black kid and saying, "Send me money"? That's a whole other conversation that they've dealt with. But it's really interesting. There's the gentleman that created it, his name is Greg Glyer, and I interviewed him. I think it would have to be 2016. And here at some point, I'll pull that up and tell you where to go to find that. I'm looking for it now. But that's something really interesting. Sorry for derailing whatever you're saying, but that is in my opinion, a more libertarian solution to that problem than to send it to something, some inflated bureaucracy where there's a lot of speculation as to where that money really goes.
Right. No, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Laura Lane calls them Barco Lounger libertarians, armchair libertarians.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. There's lots of people I walk by that are asking for money. I'm like, yeah, I got money. I'm just not going to give it to you. For whatever reason.
Well, the people in the street, yeah, I'll give them money as long as they're being honest. Like, if someone walks up to me and says, "Look, man, I just need a beer," I'm not gonna lie to you.
I saw
here,
this dude
$5,
today.
go get it. That's
I wish I could see this motherfucker that had to spread some cheese on this cracker.
Right. I can't. I hate this whole thing of of people supporting like habits like alcohol and stuff with homeless people. Anytime I see a homeless person that asks for money, I won't give them money. What I specifically do is I will go out and I will buy heroin. And I will give them that, and I will say, "You can do this, but I'm absolutely not going to give you money because you might buy fucking food with it or something like that."
At least you're fair and honest about it. I mean, shit,
It's all about being fair.
And that way, if the cop pulls you over or busts you for it, you can be like, "Look, I'm just trying to help a guy out."
Right.
He'll understand.
Horace is yelling at us a couple of times. Yes, we're now paying attention to the chat, Horace. We're sorry for flaking out.
I real quick, that is ancatbarbershop.com/DonorSee, DONORSEE -ABS11 / but if you just Google DonorSee ANCAT Barbershop, you'll find it, whatever.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll just do that because that's a hell of a lot easier.
But if Horace is getting pissed, I'm probably going to have to bounce before long anyway, because I've got to put my kid down. If y'all want to finish up with him here in a few minutes, that's absolutely completely fine. That won't be, rude to me or what the fuck ever.
All right. No. What else you got, Halston? Anything?
Man, fuck Donald Trump.
There you go.
Fuck Donald Trump.
That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
Fuck Donald Trump, and I feel like this was great. I feel like we didn't talk about anal sex with religious figures enough, but we should definitely do this again frequently, considering that we're close. Y'all are in Madison. I'm in Huntsville. I'm adjacent to y'all.
Yep. Yeah, we need to do a live show.
Yes. Oh wait,
at like one of the breweries or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have all the equipment to pretty conveniently do that. I have PA, mixer, recording stuff, blah blah blah.
Well, I guess that's something we need to start working on then.
Yeah, dude. Whenever y'all come over, y'all can see all that's one of the things I really like nerding out about is podcast gear. I've got a lot of stuff and kind of figure out how to do it and get everything you need for pretty close to as little money as possible, you can definitely.
That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Scott, thank you so much for popping on with us. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. That's just we're going to find us a new platform yet again and figure out how to unfuck this mess.
Dude, yeah, no problem, man. I really enjoyed talking with y'all. Like I said, I would love to do this again sometime. And everybody, look forward to the ANCAP Barbershop bonus episode that's going to be coming out sometime soon with you guys in studio, in what we've done, what we're now calling the Martin Shkreli Studios here over in North Huntsville.
Very, very nice. All right. Scott from ANCAP Barbershop. Check them out on Facebook. What's the Facebook tag for that?
So the Facebook, I think it's just facebook.com/ANCAP Barbershop. I'm also on Twitter and IG at ANCAP Barber. I honestly don't use Twitter that much. I'm just kind of have it there for whenever I inevitably get banned up from Facebook, and then I'll probably be a Twitter guy. I do mess around. I don't know that Instagram is more of a thing to look at haircuts and titties and stuff, but I post pictures on there from time to time. And my website is ancapbarbershop.com, and my podcast is on any podcatcher that exists, Stitcher, iTunes, all that stuff.
So are we.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, which you said you don't get enough love on your podcast feed. That's how I've been listening. So I'm contributing some downloads here and there. But yeah, I'm more of an audio guy than a video guy. I'm going to video soon. Y'all actually contacted me at a good time because I'm getting set up with this stuff. But yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. This has been a lot of fun. Y'all are awesome.
All right, Scott from ANCAP Barbershop. We're gonna wrap. Horace, you're still watching. You said you want to do a straight to L because you got booted off of this.
That's where it'll be.
Unintentionally, Halston and I will drive out. We will get you guys. We will bring you there, and we will buy your drinks. How's that sound? Right. You and your lovely wife, Katie, will enjoy a night out straight to L whenever we can kind of piece it together on our end. Yeah, hopefully that sounds good because I don't know if you're going to respond to chat or not. Either way, this is Uncivil Liberty. You guys have wasted another fine hour of your time. You could have been doing a lot of things much more productive, but instead you spent it with us. Greatly appreciate it. No masturbation joke tonight. And anything else before we close it out? Halston, Scott.
I got shit.
No. All right. And nothing from Horace. So everybody have a good night. We'll catch you next week.
Peace.